Hello everyone. Today we want to take our time to introduce ourselves to another programming language, not a specific language per se, but something that we'll be using in our design of websites and web pages. And so we're talking about CSS. I did indicate in the message that I sent to you via WhatsApp that you needed to familiarize yourselves with CSS, which is a cascading style sheet. Okay, pardon. So what does this program, or indeed language, has to do with our design of websites? Well, when you design a website or a web page, you will design it, I think, just text, because HTML gives us the body, the text aspect. But then if you want to begin customizing it, making it more beautiful, more attractive, more appealing to the viewers, and indeed people that will be visiting, then you need to bring in the aspect of CSS so that you can do the styling of the page. So there are basically three types of CSS. We have what we call inline CSS. This is the kind of CSS that we have been doing, ladies and gentlemen, where we are putting attributes within a tag, within the element. There you begin to put an attribute. For example, where you're putting the borders for the table, you're putting the margins, the padding. That is basically the attribute, where you're changing the colors for the text within the tags. That was actually inline CSS. So it is actually happening within HTML tag. So you put an attribute within HTML tag, that is actually CSS. That's why I indicated to you that you will be surprised that you've done quite a lot in as far as CSS is concerned. So you are not going to learn a lot of things that are new, but you will just have to cement a few pieces, put a few pieces together, and then you'll be able to do CSS. We also have what is called internal CSS. Well, internal CSS is the kind of CSS that you have to do, and this has to be you need to create a style file, a style tag in the head tag. So inside the head tag you create a tag called you put a tag called style. So inside that's where you'll be putting the codes for CSS. If you do not want to cloud your HTML with a lot of codes for CSS, then you can do a separate CSS file. So you create a separate CSS file that you're going to link. Even the link itself has to take place in the head tag so that you can work well within that. Whatever you do, the styling that you put, the styles that you put inside the CSS will apply to the HTML page. Now here are the types of selectors that we have in as far as CSS is concerned. We have the universal selector, and it is denoted by the italics, or indeed just a star, and then inside the bracket, that's where you put the actual attributes that you want to appear, or how you want your page to behave under this tag, the universal. Equally, when you come to element selector, you are dealing with the elements, the tags themselves, the p tag, the a tag, the image tag. They are all those tags that we did look at. So all those tags, you can start with the tag itself, and then in the curly brackets, that's where you put the actual behaviors, the attributes. Then you also have the ID selector. It starts with a hash. For example, you create an ID called menu, so you're going to start with hash menu. And then you also have a class tag, where you create a class, and then for that you begin with a dot, then the name of the actual class that you created. Then also have a dependent selector. This one will have to run. You see, it's more or less like you're looking at the father, the mother, the child, and so on. So there's going to be a child, there's going to be a parent. And so when you look at the example given here, we have the active, that is a class, and so within that active class, down in the body, you have an ordered list tag. Now inside the ordered list tag, you have the list tag. Then within that again, you have the anchor tag. So the target here is actually this A tag here called anchor tag. All these are just showing the path, the dependence of this particular tag. Where is it falling? What is its path? So you start with the class, then you come to this element, another element, and finally you have that element. You will see how this comes live when we begin to do the coding itself. So I thought I should share this before we go into the actual coding. Then today, in addition to that, the next video that I'm going to send, we will be looking at how to create a navigation tab. I'm sure when you visit the website, you have seen those tabs, where sometimes called menus, where you have the home tab, you have the program tab, or you have event tab. They are just listed right on top or sometimes on the sides of the home page. So there you can click on each of the tabs, and then they will take you to the specific pages. So there are pages that are linked to such tabs, so much that when you click on that tab, then you move to that specific page. Within that page again, you can have pages linked, and then so you keep migrating, navigating from one page to another, from one tab to another. So that's what we want to look at and try and see that we can do that. So I will end here for now, and let me now dive into creating a navigation menu or a navigation bar. As we create this navigation bar, then we are going to use a number of selectors that we have discussed and CSS. So thank you so much for listening. Please keep referring to this each time we look at specific types of selectors and see how they apply to the document that we'll be creating.